The wisdom of life, unlocking the secrets of ancient philosophy. Philosophy is more than just a study of ancient texts.
Philosophy is more than just a study of ancient texts. It's an ongoing conversation that challenges us to think critically, question assumptions, and seek deeper understanding. Today, we'll dive into some of the most powerful lessons from ancient philosophy that are still relevant in our modern lives. These ideas have shaped civilizations and continue to provide insight into how we can live better, more meaningful lives. Let's start with the basics. The ancient philosophers had one major thing in common. They were seekers of truth. They weren't interested in answers that satisfied only the surface of things. They wanted to dig deep into the nature of reality, the self, and the universe. And through their efforts, they uncovered timeless wisdom that's just as applicable to our world today. Socrates and the power of self-examination. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This simple yet profound statement is an invitation to look inward, to reflect on our thoughts, actions, and beliefs. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to go through life without questioning why we do what we do. But Socrates believed that true wisdom comes from self-awareness. By constantly questioning ourselves and our surroundings, we can better understand our values and align them with how we live. This self-examination leads to clarity and helps us make more thoughtful decisions, shaping a life that's intentional and meaningful. Socrates didn't just want to philosophize for the sake of intellectual pursuit. He wanted to teach us how to live a better life. Plato and the pursuit of the ideal. Moving on to Plato, another giant of ancient philosophy, we encounter a concept that has captured imaginations for centuries: the idea of the ideal. Plato believed that the material world around us was just a shadow of a higher, more perfect reality. His famous allegory of the cave illustrates how many of us live in a state of ignorance, trapped in a world of illusions. For Plato, the goal was to move beyond the physical realm and seek knowledge of the eternal truths: justice, beauty, and goodness. In our modern context, this can be interpreted as a call to move past superficial appearances and material pursuits, and instead focus on the deeper qualities that make life worth living. Whether it's striving for personal growth, developing meaningful relationships, or contributing to a greater good, the pursuit of the ideal invites us to reach for something beyond ourselves. Aristotle and the golden mean. Then there's Aristotle, a philosopher whose ideas on ethics still resonate today. Unlike Plato, who focused on abstract ideals, Aristotle was more concerned with practical wisdom. One of his key teachings was the concept of the golden mean, the idea that virtue lies between extremes. For example, courage is the balance between recklessness and cowardice. Generosity is the balance between prodigality and stinginess. Aristotle argued that by practicing moderation in all aspects of our lives, we can achieve true happiness and fulfillment. This balance is something we can apply to almost every aspect of life, from our work-life balance to our relationships and our emotional well-being. The Stoics and the art of resilience. In the Stoic tradition, we find a school of thought that offers powerful tools for navigating the challenges of life. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control the external events that happen to us, we can control our responses to them. The Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, emphasize that true happiness comes from mastering our own minds and emotions. When life throws obstacles in our way, the Stoics encourage us to remain calm, practice resilience, and focus on what's within our control. By letting go of our attachment to external outcomes, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. The Stoic mindset is one of inner peace, where the strength of our character defines our happiness, not the circumstances around us. The Epicureans and the pursuit of pleasure. Not all ancient philosophies were about enduring hardship. The Epicureans, led by Epicurus, believed in the pursuit of pleasure, but not in the way we might think. They didn't advocate for indulgence in fleeting pleasures or excessive luxury. Instead, they argued that true pleasure comes from simple living, the cultivation of friendships, and the pursuit of wisdom. For the Epicureans, the highest form of pleasure was peace of mind, a state of serenity where we are free from fear and anxiety. This aligns with what modern psychology teaches about happiness. It's not about accumulating wealth or fame, but about finding contentment with what we have and focusing on meaningful connections. Bringing it all together, the wisdom of the ages. While each of these philosophies presents a different path to living a fulfilling life, they share common threads: self-awareness, balance, resilience, and a focus on inner growth. They remind us that life is not about the destination, but about the journey. It's about asking the big questions, confronting our limitations, and striving to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to forget the lessons of the ancients, but by taking the time to reflect, question, and pursue deeper meaning, we can live lives that are rich in purpose and wisdom. So the next time you feel lost or overwhelmed, turn to these timeless teachings. The answers are there, waiting for you to discover them. We all know the feeling, the momentary rush of joy when something goes right in our lives, or the comfort of achieving something we've been working toward. But is that really happiness? Or just a fleeting moment of relief? The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "The happiness of life is a constant struggle to escape pain." A rather bleak view, but is there truth in it? Today we explore the paradox of happiness, that pursuit which we chase with passion, yet seems to slip through our fingers just when we think we've caught it. The nature of happiness itself. Many believe it lies in external achievements, success at work, relationships, or material possessions. In fact, Aristotle argued that happiness, or eudaimonia, is reached when we live a life of virtue, fulfilling our potential. But what happens when we get there? Have you ever achieved something you thought would bring you eternal happiness, only to find the excitement fades away? This cycle of pursuit is the hedonic treadmill, a term coined by psychologist Philip Brickman. It's the idea that no matter how much we gain, we end up back at square one, desiring more. The problem with this model? It implies that happiness is always just out of reach. The moment you get a promotion, you want a better one. The moment you get the car of your dreams, a newer model catches your eye. But what if the real key to happiness lies somewhere else? Enter Stoicism, the ancient Greek philosophy that teaches us how to cope with life's challenges. Epictetus, one of its greatest proponents, advised, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Stoicism isn't about rejecting happiness, it's about redefining it. Instead of chasing it through external means, Stoicism suggests that we can find peace by controlling our reactions to life's events. It teaches us that happiness is not something to be hunted, but rather something that arises from within, regardless of circumstances. Imagine for a moment that you could remove the constant desire for more. You might still enjoy the things you have, your relationships, your accomplishments, but there's no longer the pressure to keep chasing them for happiness. This is what the Stoics believed. True contentment comes from within. And yet, even the Stoics understood that this is easier said than done. Our minds are wired for pleasure-seeking and pain avoidance, a survival instinct that helps us, but also traps us in the cycle of constant desire. So, is there a way to break free? Here's where modern psychology and ancient philosophy intersect. Research suggests that happiness isn't just about external circumstances or fleeting pleasures. It's deeply tied to our mental attitudes. Positive psychology pioneers like Martin Seligman argue that real happiness is built on meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose and gratitude. This might sound familiar to what the Stoics said centuries ago. Happiness doesn't come from what we have, but how we view the world around us. So where does that leave us in our pursuit of happiness? The paradox remains. Happiness is both elusive and attainable. The secret may not be about constantly chasing it, but learning to embrace the journey, the struggle, and the acceptance of life as it comes. So, what does that mean for you? The next time you feel the urge to strive for more, whether it's more money, more validation, or more achievements, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this pursuit truly adding value to my life? Or am I simply caught in the hedonic treadmill, always running but never truly arriving? Ultimately, happiness is not a destination. It's a way of being, a mindset that transforms our approach to life itself. By shifting our focus from external achievements to inner contentment, we may just find that happiness has been here all along. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the paradox of happiness. We hope it gives you something to think about as you continue your journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think about the pursuit of happiness and whether you think it's worth chasing. Until next time, keep shifting your mind.